I want to have this conversation, but I'm not sure how to start it. So let's just start with the idea that how we treat other people is a direct reflection of how we feel about ourselves. For instance, if someone were to tell me, I don't like your hair, there are two ways that I can take that. A, personally. B, not. I can say, oh, well, what's wrong with it? I'm not affected. I'd be like, whatever, not your hair. Why? Because I'm strong and I'm confident, and I literally just don't give a crap what other people think about my hair, or really about anything about me, because it's none of their business. I could not like someone's hairstyle. It would have nothing to do with them. It would literally be my visual perception of the level of flattery that there is to a person's haircut, to their face shape. Like literally, that's what it comes down to, is my personal preference and idea of beauty as it applies to that particular person in that particular moment of time. Now think about that. Our opinions about everything have very little to do with other people and everything to do with us. How I choose to treat people is literally how I want people to treat me. I offer them kindness, compassion, understanding, and empathy as often as I can. Even people I don't like. So the people that I don't like, I just do my best not to interact with them, because I don't want to interact with them. If I don't like you, that clearly means that there's not a place in my life for you, or you're a giant flaming douchebag and I literally want nothing to do with you, and I have to have something to do with you. In that case, I certainly, A, limit how I have to talk or do anything with you. And B, I certainly would make sure that I have a balancing person on my side if I literally had to physically interact with you. So, for instance, let's say I was in a tiff with my sister about, I don't know, she left her dishes out on the counter, and clearly that offended me so much that I needed to start a fight. Typically, when disputes between people that live together are really about other things that aren't being addressed in the relationship. So perhaps I was yelling at my sister about the dishes that were left on the counter. But what I really meant was, I wish you were here more to spend time with me and we could do things together. Take a moment. You might have to rethink that, because the arguments that we have aren't always about what we're really upset about. And so when I see people that are having disagreements, I really think about, what are they really trying to say in this moment? I don't always get my answer. I can usually figure it out really easy, especially when it comes to romantic relationships and couples. It almost always comes down to needs not being met. I mean, in general, literally, it comes down to needs not being met. And then the conversation becomes about, what are you missing and how can we fill that gap? I mean, when we're talking about work even, someone's complaining about there not being enough training about this product. And perhaps truly the need that's not being met is the cash in their bank account. But in order to have that cash in their bank account, they simply have to work more. They have to work more. And maybe they don't want to work more. Maybe the complaint really is that they're scared of failure. I mean, this is the weird stuff that you deal with in sales, right? Sales is all a mentality game when it comes to salespeople, because you have to have that confidence. And if you take no's personally, sales is not for you. It's not. It's simply not. Because very rarely is a no personal. Very rarely. Especially in my line of work, when we talk about insurance, it's almost always budgetary needs. Because literally everyone needs insurance. Everyone. If you have someone that depends on you, someone that depends on your finances, someone that depends on the money that you bring home, the roof over their head, you have to be insured. We have property insurance. We have
car insurance. We have cell phone insurance, like life insurance. It should be a priority. Some people really are just giant flaming douchebags. And there's nothing I could do about that. Nothing I could do about that. Some people don't value their literally. Some people don't value their family that much. It's true, seriously. And those people, I kind of want to punch in the face, but I don't. I educate them as much as I can, and then I leave, because you can't change somebody's mind. If someone can really say, if I die, my family will be fine. Well, except that they won't. But that person simply can't see that. For whatever reason, they can't. Flaming douchebags. Seriously. Flaming douchebags. It's strange when you see different types of leaders together and the way that they interpersonally relate. Strong personalities very rarely work well together. Why? Because they're strong personalities. Because everyone, because they communicate differently. And that's really where things break down. Everyone communicates differently. But most women especially can understand different types of communication better than anyone. Guys who are trained to communicate, guys who are in relationships understand communication from different standpoints. They're okay. But when you find men who are very goal-oriented and haven't had to communicate in a different way to accomplish their level of success, they're typically very closed-minded when it comes to learning the skills regarding communicating with others on a different level, because they strictly believe that others should get to their level. It's a bit obtuse. It's a bit selfish, because there are a lot of people that will simply never be at a VP or presidential mind level. They simply won't. I joke about worker bees. We need worker bees. Worker bees are an essential part of every single society on earth, period, in a conversation. You have a few queens, sure, that's fine, but everybody has to work. Everybody has a job to do. And when we stop respecting the worker bees, when we're talking about government, when we're talking about jobs, when we're talking about families, when we stop giving that respect and having that cycle of respect and loyalty and understanding and open and honest communication, things break down and bad things happen. I've seen it happen in families. I've seen it happen at work. I've seen it happen. It happens. It's only because people choose not to understand on a different level. But again, we can't make people choose. We can't. And so we continue to see this pervasive idea that we need to either be on their level or get out of their way. And it's interesting from an outsider's perspective, having the business experience, the entrepreneurial experience, the learning experience. I mean, by God, I have the credits for a PhD, and seeing these things happen in cycles repeatedly and saying, how can we fix this? Because we don't want it to happen. It disrupts a lot. Problem is, we can't fix it. The people at the top of the pyramid have to fix it, or it simply won't be fixed. And it's interesting to see what happens to the worker bees when that happens, because obviously we like having people to follow. We like having leaders. We like having people that inspire us and lead us and motivate us, and that's amazing. Everybody is looking for someone like that, whether it's in your church, in your community, in your work, in your spiritual life. We're looking for that. We're looking for ourselves to become that. And sometimes, we're just looking for a light in a dark room. I get it. I'm hoping to live my life like that, to bring others on my level. Some people just won't, and that's fine. It's their choice. Again, doesn't reflect on me. It's their choice. And it's interesting to think about that from the upper echelon level. These leaders who are choosing not to continue to learn to communicate to better their organization, community, whatever, I feel like they're very much missing out on that. And as such, it makes me rethink how I communicate to my family, to my friends, to my spiritual people. Because I don't think that I'm closed-minded, but the truth is we don't know it until someone points it out to us. So, especially during the holidays when people are bound to say things that are potentially hurtful, are bound to hear things in a way that are potentially hurtful, whether they're meant or not, because of course we all hear things through our own personal set of filters. I would like to advise you all to not take things personally. Nope, not at all. Not at all. I don't even care if your mother says, I never liked that hair color on you. Whatever, Mom, it's not your hair. Seriously. If she's like, I like the purple better, be like, well, maybe I'll go purple in spring. Maybe it wasn't a complaint lodged at you. It wasn't meant to be a hair color was ugly. Ew, you're ugly. No, it was meant to be like, I kind of miss the purple on you. Why don't you do the purple again? But we hear it through our filters that affect how we get the final message imparted to our brain. Stop taking things personally for your own mental health and sanity. Learn how to hear things from a different viewpoint than you typically would. Maybe someone really did mean it in a bad way. Don't like the red in your hair. That doesn't affect me. It doesn't. Even if they meant it in the worst human way possible. You look hideous with red hair. Sucks to be you. Legitimately, because I like my red hair. Someone else's opinion of anything physical about me has nothing to do with my spirit, my joy, my happiness, nothing. But if I hear that on that particular level, that's going to break me down. That's going to cause me pain, upset, emotional devastation, whatever. I don't want that. I don't have any time for that. So, if you're hearing things differently, no matter where you are, try and perceive it from a different perspective where things don't rob you of joy. Try and learn something new about communicating and leading and motivating and helping others, and do something differently. See what happens. See what you learn. So thanks for listening to my rant. We have it'd be interesting to see how things work out. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Don't take things personally. I love you. Bye.